Okay. Dan who? Dan double you. Let's go. Ow, wow, listen right now. Everybody knows the man that says pow. Start the show, gonna talk some toys. This is for the grown-up girls and boys making noise. Let's start the show. Talking Marvel Legends and the money that we blow. Honestly, look, there ain't no stopping me. Turtles and Joes too, let's do this properly. Need to buy more toys, don't tell my bank. Wasn't me, promise it was Hellfire Hank. Whole Who crew, look, they made me do it. If it lands in my door, then I best review it. Screw it, I don't usually boast, but I got Rich M, he's here to host. Raise a toast and raise some ducks. This isn't your average show, we're deluxe. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. How are we doing? Happy Thursday to you all. Now, Dan Who hasn't reviewed much this week, but don't you worry, there is some Marvel Legend news to discuss. And let me just say this right off the bat. Today is going to be spoilerific. We are talking all things Deadpool and Wolverine. So if you have not seen that movie, and for some reason you had your head buried in a hole like an ostrich, I think it's ostriches that do that, and you don't know any of the spoilers, then don't watch this stream. I'm sorry about that, all right? Don't watch that stream, this stream, because we're going to be talking spoilers, all right? But I'm not doing it on my own. Let me bring him in. It is, of course, the co-host, the super producer, Rich M, displayed once. You just had your head in a hole like an ostrich then.
I removed it just for you, Dad, just for you.
So you don't know any of the spoilers?
I don't know anything about anything. Okay. All I've been doing is sucking on tunes all week. That's all I've been doing.
Glad you said tunes.
My voice is nearly back now. Everyone will be pleased, I know.
Oh yeah, I forgot last week. People thought you sounded good last week though as well. Isn't that annoying though when they say you sound good when you're ill and you're like, so what's wrong with fucking my normal voice?
Yeah, I've made all my money from my sex line now, and I'll be like turning that off at the end of the week. Stop ringing Adam Moran. Stop ringing.
For Adam Fatman Moran, he can't help himself. He can't help himself. Right, we are here talking again. So we're talking Deadpool and Wolverine. So we're going to talk all spoilers. We're going to talk about all the cameos, all of the variants, if you will, and just give us again. No one really cares of our thoughts on the movies, I'm sure, but we will discuss action figures.
I care about my thoughts, Dan. Okay. That's what I care about.
I did try. There was a time where I started to do movie reviews on this channel, like way back in the day, and like they got less views than Dazzler from the A-Force box set. So I was like, yeah, I'm not probably going to do reviews on this channel anymore.
The best thing about that is Dazzler's not even in the A-Force box set. So well done you.
Oh no. Oh no, it is Dazzler. She is the bottom though. It's the A-Force box set and Dazzler that I like the bottom of my lists for reviews. Anyway, my point is, reviews didn't go well on the channel. No one give a shit what I thought of movies. So instead of that, we will talk about the toys. So that's what we're going to do. But first and foremost, let's do the housekeeping. Let's do it real quick and go check out all the long fun content. And I do owe the world of Joe's and Juice and Turtles and Tea. It's just the schedule, people. The schedule is very difficult. I'm so sorry. If I didn't have a full-time job, I'd stream every night of the week and you would hate me. Trust me. But I will do a Joe's and Juice and Turtles and Tea very, very soon. Also, Legend and Liquor this weekend. It's cancelled. I'm so sorry. I know, I'm absolutely terrible at the start of this stream, but Amanda's making me go away. Well, she's not making me go away, but it's the only weekend we can make it work. So
get all that plane, Dan.
Yeah. I'm going away with Amanda to Menorca this weekend to chase the sun, just for the weekend. Nothing crazy, but it's genuinely the only weekend we can make it work. So I'm going to have to rearrange Legend and Liquor. So no Legend and Liquor this weekend, but it will be back. And I will also be doing an Inner Circle in the month of August. So if you become a channel member in August, we're going to be doing a big Inner Circle extravaganza, games and prizes and all that good stuff, all right? So I will make it up to you as I always do. You know I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. And if you want to continue supporting the channel and the nonsense we do here, anything over £4 or $4, Friday, our talking robot assistant, who sometimes works on a Thursday, will read your super chat out loud. No matter what you say, she will attempt to say it, and sometimes she says it wrong. That's how Tigray was born, because she tried to say Tigra. Give it a go. I always appreciate that first super chat. Or you can use the channel membership token, just like Tac Tac did just then. And again, hit that channel membership button and you get a free channel membership token every month, I think. That's how it works. As well as exclusive looks at other bonus stuff, like the weekly after show. Every single week we have a bonus show where we go on for at least another half an hour talking to you guys, like a mini Legend of the Liquor, if you will. So no Legend of the Liquor this week, but we will be doing the Who Crew Deluxe after show. Dan Who Extra is tonight for the Who Crew Deluxe tier, alright? I appreciate yous. Thank you so much. Let's go to the chat before we talk about the Marvel Legend news. Firstly, I've got a question at the top of the poll, or the poll is, what movie franchise is your favourite? Deadpool.
Madam Web.
Madam Web wasn't an
Madam
option.
Webverse.
I didn't want to put Madam Web in there, Rich, because
you knew we'd win, didn't you? You knew we would win.
Exactly.
Give other people a chance.
Exactly my thought. So I put just out of the two topics that we're discussing today, what is your favourite movie franchise? Deadpool or Into the Spider-Verse? Rich's is Madam Web, as we know. So far, Deadpool was 68%, Spider-Verse with only 32%. But I think people are on a Deadpool hype at the minute. Plus, they've had 3 films, and Into the Spider-Verse is... I was actually annoyed. So let me just say, by the way, I have watched Spider-Verse now, right? I'm caught up. I watched it yesterday, so I felt like I could actually talk about these new reveals. And I didn't realise it ended so abruptly. I was like, oh, wait, it's ended. I was like, it's just getting started. So I was a bit annoyed at the abrupt ending, but we will discuss, of course. So get your votes in on that one. Mark Tac Tac says, I've been dying to say this. You know we never have a Wolverine up in here, but it's common courtesy to ask before he's on Legends and Liquor. Dan and Rich, anchor characters in the timeline. I appreciate that.
Oh, if I'm an anchor character, everyone's fucked, to be honest with you.
Right, and talking of anchor beings, usually the Koppelberg is that anchor being, but I'm so fed up with Koppelberg ignoring my tweets and my cries and the emails I never send them. I am going to change it up today, and I'm going to start a new sponsorship campaign for Old Mount Cider. That's a real cider. It sounds like a made-up name, but it's true. Oh, is this overseas? Can you get this in America? I'm curious. Can you get this where you drink your alcohol? It's called Old Mount Cider. It's essentially the same concept. It's flavoured cider, but it's called Old Mount Cider rather than Koppelberg. So the cider wars started because Koppelberg won't sponsor me, so I'm having some Old Mount. So cheers to any Old Mount drinkers out there. Do you drink
Old Mount Logan sounds like a Wolverine, like alternate Wolverine, doesn't it?
Yeah, Old Mount Logan. Yeah, it does indeed. I know it's like a Logan, but he lives on the mountains. That's where he is.
Yeah.
Old Mount Logan. Let me scroll up and say hello to some people. Just shout random names that have jumped in nice and early. So Mark Tactov, of course, California Red Devil. Everyone knows his favourite turtle is Donatello. Don't listen to his lies. We got Durkey. I always don't know how to say that name. Kev's Collectibles, Cloud as well. I hope Cloud's feeling better. I know she's had a bad back. Jamie Gitchard, McMackerson, Arvin, who's busy being an actor, I'm sure. Arvin, remember me and Rich when you get famous, please. And when you're really, really famous, just be a guest on our show so I get a bit of YouTube cred. That'd be great. I appreciate that, Arvin. Octane, Daniel Esch, your boys got toys. Quinn Comics says, greetings and power, Dan and Rich. Hope you are having a quintastic day, my friend, from your friendly neighbourhood comic shop from across the pond. Watch you in the shop. Hello, everybody in Quinn Comics. Spend your money wisely. Quintastic is like a catchphrase. You need that on a t-shirt, Quinn Comics, all right? Hopefully you've already capitalized on this branding opportunity, but Quintastic definitely needs to be on a t-shirt. That's your new catchphrase. Lorenz says, howdy. Justin Collects says, hey everybody. I watched Justin Collects channel recently, and he had a top 5 most disappointed figures up, and I was annoyed at the amount of Marvel Legends in there, Justin. All right, no need for that Marvel Legends slander. All right, you could have picked some more, I don't know, Gokus. All right, you got about 20 Gokus on the shelf. Some of them look disappointing to me. All right, I'm just saying, be careful. Robert's in the chat as well. Michael Davis, Jason Lopez, the retweeting king, and Culture, Kenny, Home Dude, Adam Batman Moran is in the chat finally after getting off the phone to Rich's sex line. Stop
ringing.
Your boy's got.
Oh no, David Eversmith is in. Oh my god.
God's sake. I wonder if Craig can't get through. He's been telling me he's been struggling. RP was said while we're waiting, so I did apologise to RP and he did forgive me, so all is well. Jay's Toys Collection UK has finally built a building. That's right, people. He has a Lego city. And there is a building in there right now. So right now it's just a building rather
Has
than
it got
a city.
windows in it?
It has got windows, yeah. I think it's
Whoa!
the
First thing in Jay's house to got windows, amazing.
yeah, it's the Doctor Strange Sanctum Sanctorum, I believe. So right at the minute, that's just it can't be called a city until there's at least 2 buildings at least. So at the minute, it's just got a big Doctor Strange display. That's what I'm looking at it like. Fortress Maximus says, "Howdy hooligans." I quite like hooligans. Eric Baker says, "The second Deadpool wave of the Resistance characters." And then here we go, people. First spoiler of the day: Blade, Elektra, Johnny, and Gambit would be cool. Don't you worry. We're going to be talking about all of that today. Again, spoiler-heavy discussion today regarding Deadpool. Wes Walker's also there. He's waving. He says hello. Hello, Wes Walker. Disavowed is there. Disavowed. Lady Mac. Iron Manuel. Mini Plastic Multiverse. How you doing, Tom? Lady Mac's other half is there as well. Paul McCarthy. Hobbies there. Scrolling. Tariq's there. There's Craig. Craig's Nostalgic Collection. Don't forget the dots, people. He says, "Evening all. Happy Thursday." John's also there. He says, "Hello, everybody." And Antonio Banks is also there. Hello. Hope everybody is well. Rich, have you got anything fun this week to show off? We don't really show off our toys anymore, but we do still buy them.
I did buy a toy. I got Death's Head.
Oh, the controversial Death's Head. Oh, where did you get your Death's Head from?
I got it from Hasbro Pulse UK.
Oh,
because
slander!
They took exclusivity in the UK.
Who are they? Who are they, Rich? Who the hell are they?
I think it's a man operating out of the back of a van at the back of Hasbro, and he just comes with like figures every now and again.
Yeah.
He took my money, Dan. He took my money, and then this arrived. And do you know what? This did not arrive next day. This only arrived today. I am a Pulse Premium member, and Phil Jones got his before me. I'm not amused.
Phil Jones knows people in places, though. You know it's Phil. You know Hill Phones. he knows people in all the right places. So I'm not surprised he got his first.
It's back in stock again for a pre-order now. So they've obviously got more stock coming.
They just scaremonger people, don't they? They're like, "Oh no, it's so exclusive," but then it's like on the shelf everywhere. So you'll be able to get it, people. Just be patient. Don't you worry. Do you like him?
Yeah, he looks like Death's Head.
He does indeed.
So, I mean, I think this is probably going to be more popular in the UK than probably in the US because, like, this was on, like, the comic book, like, on magazine stands. Like, you could buy this as a kid. Like, Death's Head was there, like, next to Spider-Man or Wolverine. Like, Death's Head had his own big comic book in the UK. So, yeah. It was Death's Head 2, actually. It was overkill, wasn't it? Death's Head 2 probably more popular than Death's Head 1. But I like Death's Head 1. He's in Doctor Who. Transformers fans will love him as well. And look, he's got a face that anyone could love. And who doesn't love Head? And what better than Death's Head? The final head of all.
Oh, my God. Would you accept Death's Head if you knew that was your fate? I think I'd probably hold out for a little bit.
Well, like Final Destination, that's the way you're going to go.
Just avoiding Head your whole life because you know when it happens, that's it, game over. So like these hot people are offering you Head and you're like, no, sorry, I can't.
We should write a film, Dan. We should do
Death's
that.
Head.
Death's Head.
Just a guy avoiding getting Head, but he's super attractive and he wears links as well, so he has the effect.
Links. Links. Dear God.
I'm just making a joke about the links effect. No, never mind. The Americans.
I know. I got you, Joe.
Right, what we were talking about, I can't forget. Oh, talking of death, I've got open Ghost Rider. So Ghost Rider is here. Very, very nice. And finally, after all those teasers, I've got this stupid flame in my hand, which we all guessed could be anything, but it was just a kickstand for the bike of Ghost Rider. But he does look very nice. I am very happy to own the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider now to go along with my Johnny Blaze on the shelf. Did I get both of those Ghost Rider names right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm just testing. I always get them wrong, so I'm just making sure. Do you reckon we'll ever get in Marvel Legends form the original Ghost Rider, like the one on the horse, the Phantom? What's he called? The Ghost Phantom or something like that?
I mean, he wouldn't be the first person like riding a horse in the Marvel universe. I would want
This is my point, though. If Marvel make the effort to tool up a horse, they could get reuse out of it. Obviously, Valkyries would be a big one, but
that Venom horse from the new Venom Last Dance.
Don't give them an excuse
Venom
for
horse.
Venomverse figures. Bloody hell, you might end up getting your bloody woman behind you.
Oh, I want to. Maybe is she going to be a horse? Is she going to be the horse? She might voice the horse, Madam Web horse.
Could be. If Todd can make a horse, Hasbro cancels Jason. Yes, they can. Absolutely. They just choose not to. Because they don't have the guts. That's why. No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking, Daniel. I'm only joking. It was just a joke. I did not mean that in all seriousness. My points last week were actually about the Quinjet, not Quinjet, the Blackbird, is that it could be scaled down and people would be happy with it. That was the only point I was making, really. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about the actual Marvel Legend news that came out this week, because not enough people hit me up in my inbox and told me about it. I need more people telling me about the news in my inbox, please, because it is the new Spider-Man wave of Into...
hang on, Dan. Well, I got a phone.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
Yeah. Sharp.
What's going on?
No way. Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll let them know now. Yeah, no worries. Okay. All right, love you. Bye. Bye. That was Hasbro, Dan.
Oh, no.
They just phoned in another movie wave for Q4 they have.
I wondered who was phoning.
I've been thinking about that all day. I was
Phoned in. Funny shit.
I knew you'd laugh. No one else in the chat laughing. I knew you'd laugh.
Look, I've told many people before, I like the Spider-Verse movies, but I was never, like, in the world that we're building, I've got MCU and comic. So, like, I like the live action and the comic distinction in my collection. Just, that's how I've built my two little worlds. So when they started making animated figures for What If and Into the Spider-Verse, I was like, look, they're great for what they are, but they're just maybe not for me and my collection. But again, you get itchy, you get FOMO. I ended up buying all those What If figures because they had Build-A-Figure pieces. And the first wave of this was the Stiltman Build-A-Figure wave. It was where the Frogman originally was. So, like, obviously I've got some of these Spider-Verse figures, but I did skip the whole first wave of this Spider-Verse theme because I just thought they don't go anywhere in my collection, but a great representation of the movie nevertheless. So when the second wave came out, it just wasn't something that I majorly get massively excited about, but again, they're Marvel Legends. I wanted to discuss them. So I watched the film yesterday. And yeah, I enjoyed the film. Of course I do. It ended a bit abruptly, though. But I understand it's part one of part two. So is part two coming out next year? Like, is that actually confirmed? Or
still making. I think the writer's strike stopped it or something. I think they're still making it.
Okay. Well,
it's not on the schedule. Like Madam Web 2, not on the schedule yet. But they are making Spider-Verse 3 at least.
I hope not. So Spider-Verse Into the Spider-Verse Part 1 now has the accompanying wave that has been rumoured for a while, to be fair. This is like, we all expected to see this, but maybe not this character selection, okay? So we're going to go through these real quickly and discuss the pros and cons from our perspective. And again, this is just two idiots on YouTube's perspective. We're not trying to take away anyone's hype for these figures, because, again, I know a lot of people are going to be very excited for these. So let's go through them in whatever order our good friends at Toy Ark have put them up. So first up, we have Spider-Man 2099. Now this is basically the same as the previous one, but it's darker with an unmasked head sculpt, so that you can see the distinction between the two there.
And they've removed his cape as well.
Oh, so the cape's not even in the packaging at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the two in the packaging side by side, so you can see that there is a colour variation between the two. From watching the film yesterday, I actually do think the darker colours are maybe a little bit more accurate to what was on screen. But the unmasked head is where the controversy lies, because he's got a bit of, like, I don't know, it's a bit like, he's a bit ill, isn't he? Like, I know he's like sort of a vampire-ish, but he's definitely a bit washed out in regards to looking a bit ill. Do you not think?
I mean, I think that's how he looks in Spider-Verse. So I think they've gone from the Spider-Verse version of Miguel rather than comic book Miguel, which, I mean, it's based on the movie, so that's what they've gone with. That they've gone with the actual assets, I think, this time, which maybe they didn't have for the first wave. So yeah, I mean, like, I love Spider-Man 2099. I love this thing, but I also love the Spider-Man 29 that I got last year.
Yeah.
And this is not enough of a difference for me to get this one. I mean, if you missed out on the first one, because this one did sell out, like, it is a good figure to get, because now you're getting the complete version. But yeah, not for me. I don't need this.
Like every action figure collector, once you see a movie and you know these figures exist, you start looking at them in a different light. And I did think, oh, okay, maybe I could get some of just the unique characters to pair up. There is one Spider-Man 2099 just sat on my Forbidden Planet shelf that hasn't been purchased yet, but I think it's like 30 quid, so I've avoided it, but it is still there. And I think between the two, I think you're probably right. I prefer the sort of cape look and the sort of lighter blue, but the darker blue is not inaccurate either. It just depends on what panel. Just think, so the animation in that film changes so quickly. It's like, you can't challenge that either of these are not inaccurate. It genuinely just depends on what frame of the movie you are watching. So again, pick your poison. Would you prefer the lighter or the darker tones here, Rich?
Either
Yeah,
or.
again, see, some people they just don't care. That's fair, and that's fair. That's fair. But you do get the unmasked head, which I know is always a bonus. So there, either he does look good. He does look very stylized, very accurate to what we've seen on screen. Obviously, he's very top heavy, top buff. So yeah, so basically, it's another opportunity to get yourself a Spider-Man 2099.
The thing that I'm most annoyed about with this figure, which I might have bought this figure for,
Okay.
is that his AI, Layla, does not come with him. They put it with Spider-Gwen for God knows what reasons.
So, because they want you to spend your money on the Spider-Gwen that no one wants. That's why, Rich. And we will discuss. Should we just go straight to Spider-Gwen, wherever she is? Let me have a look for Spider-Gwen. Again, shout out Toy Arc. We'll go to Spider-Gwen next. Okay, so here's Spider-Gwen. And there is the AI that Rich is referring to. So that's obviously, I assume that's got no articulation in at all. It's just it's a nice accessory though. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice little accessory, which absolutely would make more sense to go with Spider-Man 2099, as it is his AI, his Friday, if you will. Now this Gwen though, I've watched the whole movie, Rich, as recent as yesterday, right? And I was taking screen grabs so I could show on this stream today to sort of justify some of the choices they have made. I could not find anything in the film where she looked like this. Unless it's like lighting on her, but not at any point was there a variant or was Gwen's hair purple and blue. So what is the relevance of this choice in Legend?
I mean, I think it is a different color in it in the second one.
It's not that drastic, not to that extent.
Let me have a look.
Am I wrong, people? I do think it's a lighting thing because obviously, depending on the pan of the screen, and depending on the frame, the lighting does change, the animation just change. So I'm not saying this look isn't in the movie. I'm just saying it is not like the look of Gwen that I remember. Out of all the extra figures or repaints they could have done, Gwen's hair changing to this would have been low on my list, is all I'm saying. But I couldn't find a panel as such. Beast Boy says poor attempt at shading and lighting. I'm sure they have reference. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not disputing that Hasbro have not got reference to say, well, this is where it's from. I'm just saying for me, it wasn't anything that stood out to me during the movie, that's all. So this wouldn't be a Gwen that I'd want on my shelf. It's not an accurate representation of Gwen. Who wants a representation of Gwen that just has a bit of weird lighting in her hair? Like, it's a bit odd. I think the rest of the character design though looks okay because it's just Gwen Stacy's Ghost Spider, Spider Woman's, whatever you want to call her. But there's Miguel with his AI. That's, again, would have made more sense for her to be packed with him, but they've packed it with Gwen.
There you go. Arvin says it's from the intro monologue where she was in a uniform.
So she actually has that colour hair?
Yeah, I don't think it was more washed out than this, maybe. But yeah, she definitely had blue and purple hair in one bit.
Okay.
Pinky purple.
I'm sure, again, as I said, I'm sure Hasbro have their reference. I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying that for me, after watching the movie, it wasn't a look that stayed with me to think, oh, I need an action figure of Gwen with green hair. Or not green, but purple hair. But the highlight of this set, like Rich says, is Layla. Did you say she's called Layla? Lila?
Yeah, Lyla.
Very nice. Oh, acronym. I get it. All right, so there she is. So, made more sense to come with Spider-Man 2099. Not the case, but if you do want Gwen with some different hair, and again, you might not even display her with that head anyway, so it makes no difference at all. But it is what it is for Gwen. I do have a comparison to the previous Gwen here. So there's your two different Gwen Stacys now in the actual Spider-Verse line. So you've got the Gwen with the blonde hair with the pink highlights, and then now you've got the Gwen with the purple and blue. And the purple and blue on her uniform is a little bit different to the pink and blue on the previous one as well. So the uniform is a different tone as well, if you see what I mean. A bit more purpley, darkish purple around the eyes, behind the mask, behind the hood, sorry, compared to the pink around the eyes and behind the hood on the other one. So definite difference in the colours between the two for Gwen. Let's go to whoever was next in line, which I believe is Miles. So this is Miles from the first movie. So they're using the body mold, I think, from the first wave to repaint and make it more accurate to the first one. They've even gave him the younger head. So obviously he's grew up a little bit in the second one. So he's got the younger head. He does look really young there, but that is accurate to the first movie. He just grew up a little bit in the second one, and they've just repainted that newer body, I suppose. I think that's how it's done anyway. Am I right in thinking that, Rich? It's the same as the other one, just repainted?
I think so, yeah. I mean, they could have like updated it, like, and maybe given a smaller body for this one, but
Oh, maybe it is
yeah,
a different. Maybe it is different.
the legs seem thinner.
Maybe it's the first body without the clothing. Do you know, like the Stiltman
But the
wave?
first body had like shoes and a jacket, didn't it? In
Yeah,
the
so maybe
first.
it's without that, and they
But
give him new arms.
the first wave, the bodies weren't stylized like this wave was, were they? They were
Yeah.
just like normal Marvel Legends, I think.
Or maybe there's more new there than we first seen, but there's two different miles there, so that's your comparison from the previous wave anyway. But this in this new wave, it is Miles from the first movie. So Rich, apart from Lila, that little accessory piece, have you got any interest in Miles or Gwen from this wave?
No.
Okay, let's keep moving.
Because but I've got
Yeah, that's fair.
I've got two other versions of Miles and two other versions of Gwen. So yeah, I don't need these. But again, I mean, they are both the main characters of the Spider-Verse movie. So if you've missed them out or you're a big fan of the movies, I'm sure they are good for people.
Of course, again, I'm not taking anything away from any of these figures, by the way, people. I understand that this movie is multi-generational. People of all ages are enjoying this film, so I'm happy to see some Marvel Legends on the shelf for people to enjoy. I'm just trying to find the context, that's all. Now, Spider-Man India. Now, we guessed that we'd probably see him in Legends form, considering the SH Figure Arts put out their solicitation a little bit first. And you know what? No qualms from me on this one. After watching the movie, he plays a significant role compared to a lot of the other variants and Spider-Men we see in the movie. And we get the full package here. We get his unique web. Apologies, I have no idea what that little thing's called, but he has that unique web in with his band. It is like his wristband that he uses and takes off, isn't it? You get the two heads as well, and he's completely newly tooled and pinless. So, like, I ain't got no disputes here. It looks good. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, this one would have been the one I would have wanted in a wave of Spider-Man. So there's two figures I want in this wave, this being one of them. Again, he was like a character who had like a big part in the Spider-Verse movies across the Spider-Verse, much more of a part than like Cyborg Spider-Woman had. So like if
Oh
anyone
my
deserved a
god.
figure, it was him. And yeah, really glad to get it. It's a good look. They've like adapted into the comic books now for Spider-Man India. But yeah, really good comic, really good character in the movie. And yeah, I like this look, so I'll be adding him to my Spider-Verse cube.
Yeah, this is how you do a new character. You don't do him in any weird color palettes or anything like that. You just give us him in his main canon look. You give us the unmasked head as well, interchangeable hands, a nice weapon piece. Yeah, I think people are going to be very happy with the offering for this one to add the new character to the shelf. Not a character we've had in we've definitely not had Spider-Man India in any other form of media or Marvel Legends either. So a nice new addition to your Spider-Verse shelf for sure. And just as you mentioned it, Rich, I did, after watching that movie, I did think, oh, maybe I'm going to see the relevance of that deluxe Cyborg Spider-Woman now. Like, I blinked a few times during the film, so I may have actually missed her. I actually think that she now takes the record from Rintra for the least screen time in a movie to get an actual Marvel Legend. Because at least you
Well,
could see Rintra in the background a little bit.
that is, but just to please you even more and to take that title away, we have, of course, got Trailer Wolverine coming soon, who
Oh,
doesn't even appear in the movie, just in the trailer.
that's true. We have got
I'll wait for that one.
Deadpool with a Trailer Wolverine accessory. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not. This isn't bitching at Hasbro. They get given certain things and they're told to make certain things, and then things are changed without them even being aware, I'm sure. But yeah, the look Spider-Woman, Cyborg Spider-Woman was an unnecessary figure. I don't own it for obvious reasons. But let's keep going. Next up, so now we have Spider-Man, but it's Peter Parker, but like from the first one, that got killed at the start. This is like the main Peter Parker who died, I believe, right, Rich? He's the blonde version, right? It's Peter Parker A.
This is the blonde version of Peter, like the one who was like the real Spider-Man in the universe before he got killed. So I mean, this is like a figure we have not had before. So This is good. He wasn't in the movie enough for me to add him to my shelves, but I think if you're a big fan of the movie, this is a good one to get, isn't it?
Yeah, again, it's another unique, another technically, it is a different character to add to the shelf. Granted, it's a character that who's shown basically dying at the start of the very first movie, but they do,
Spoilers.
but
Lots
they
of spoilers tonight.
it's a big spoiler show, but you can see from the sticker that they add on the packaging that does show you that it's meant to be from the first movie, not the second movie. But yeah, so this isn't Peter B. Parker that we've had already. This is the original Peter A. Parker or whatever they called him. But yeah, blonde Peter Parker is your difference there. But at least he comes with a Spider-Man head, so if you wanted to, you can just pop on the head and he can be a regular old Spider-Man anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah, he looks like a nice little Spider-Verse stylized animated Spider-Man. So, and there was plenty of them variants floating around. I think one of them was on a therapy chair during the film. So there you go. So there's Spider-Man. Now this one I do think is going to be the most desired and probably the most popular out of the whole wave, as this was the big twist at the end of the movie. I'm glad I've seen the movie now, as I wouldn't have understood the context of this figure. But again, I'm sure people are going to enjoy having this figure early, because we can all assume he's going to have a much bigger role in the next one. Right? That's what they're sort of setting up, right? Miles versus Miles. So you get his backpack, which is in separate piece, an interchangeable head with the Prowler mask on, and interchangeable Prowler claws. Looks like a lot of new tooling on here. I like the sort of cornrows hairstyle for Miles they gave him as well, to sort of, so you can tell the difference between the two. I think people are going to like this one, and he's Miles G. Morales. So it isn't the canon main timeline Miles. This is the timeline of the original spider that bit him. But what happens if there was no Spider-Man? Because obviously that spider left that universe. So there's no Spider-Man in this universe. And Miles has chosen the dark side. I'm assuming, Rich, this is the other one you're going to want.
Yeah, this is the other figure I'm gonna get from this wave. I think that the Spider-Verse line is kind of lacking the villains. Like we've got Prowler from the first film, and we've got Spot from the second film. But like Lady Doctor Octopus, Kingpin, there's other characters I think they could have done, which I would have much rather seen in this wave. But I think doing this version of Miles, who, like you said, is probably going to be in the third film. And if things had gone to plan, the third film would have probably been out this year. So there was a good bet going with this figure, I think, for Hasbro. So yeah, happy to get this one. This is the other one that I pre-ordered.
Yeah, looks good. No faults from it at all. So yeah, there was looked at Miles. And the last one, this one's a bit of a head scratcher. Again, I had to watch the movie to understand the reference of this one. So it is Spider-Punk. Who's the voice of Spider-Punk, Rich? Is it the guy from the Us and the Nope films and whatever? Daniel something or other.
I think it is, yeah.
Sounded like him. Sounded like him.
Google it. Yeah, Daniel Kaluuya.
Yes, yeah, it was who I thought it was then. So yeah, Spider-Punk, great character. Again, just like Spider-Man India, he does play a significant role in the movie to justify a figure. We've already had one figure. But now we get him in pink. Now, I don't know if I like it or hate it. I can't decide. But they've at least given you the interchangeable head that is in colour, so you could use it as a accurate interchangeable head on the previous one. Now, is that in there as like a justification to buy this one? I don't know. He doesn't come with the actual mask in this colour, but I don't think there is a scene where he's wearing the mask in this sort of colour palette. Now, this is something I took a screenshot from the movie, okay? So here we have it, the evidence. The evidence right here. This is a screen grab from the movie that Spider-Punk, he's like, he changes like his look during the film. It not every frame he like changes a little bit. It's just his universe's style, I suppose. And he does change to purple quite often. So there's like just a washed out purple version. So that's what they've gave us in Marvel Legends form. So you can't say it's not accurate because it's in the movie. So is it a niche choice? Yes. Is it a choice people wanted? I don't know. You're going to have to ask yourself that question. But it is a way for them to give you a repaint that is technically not inaccurate, but they've given you the new head. Rich, what do you think of this one? Is it good or bad? I don't know what to think. I don't want to like it, but then it's got the head that everyone wants.
I think, yeah, the new head sculpts are good. I like those, but again, it's one that should have probably come on the original figure. And I think Spider-Punk of the first wave was, for a time, that was going for like that was one that sold out everywhere. It's got like an interesting design to it. It's got good articulation, and his character in the film was, I think, one of the breakout characters. Like everyone liked Spider-Punk in Across the Spider-Verse. So yeah, it is. Uh, and the thing is, right, is that I didn't remember him being this color when I went and saw the movie like in the cinema. But then when I like what I did like you, I watched it back and then I was like, oh yeah, no, he does. But it wasn't like a memorable look for me. I think like the primary colors of Spider-Man are much more like the look you more remember for Spider-Punk. But I get what they've done here. And then I suppose if you own the original, Tariq says they changed it for the digital release. Maybe that's why
I was going to
I don't
bring it up.
remember them.
I have read some stuff online that apparently they made some tweaks and amendments to the digital
Right.
release and the streaming sort of release, but I never seen it in the cinema, so I don't know the difference. But yeah, your mind's eye may have not remembered this at all if they had added it in post anyway. So unless you rewatch it, you're not going to remember this look. But again, the Legends team knew about it, and they've give you the repaint. But again, at least the silver lining in this figure is they've gave you the head that you can use on the previous Spider-Punk. But that previous Spider-Punk does go for a pretty penny on the aftermarket. And if you're only going to have one in your display, I would think that 90% of the community would probably want just the normal colorway version. But
Yeah.
at least you could get a version as a placeholder on your shelf that isn't inaccurate, because there it is. It's in the movie. It's right there. It is a purple Spider-Punk with the unmasked head. Unmasked head is very nice, by the way. He does look very cool. Yes, should that have been with the first release? Yes, of course. But again, we don't understand the logistics behind the scenes. Maybe there's a very valid, justifiable reason why it couldn't have been. But at least it is in there now. I know, Rich is... I'm trying to be nice, Rich. I'm trying to be nice. But you never know. You never know. So there you go. So that is your full wave of Spider-Verse figures. Rich is in for two of them. Rich is in for Spider-Man India and also the Miles Prowler. Yeah, I guess for me, it would be like Spider-Man India because he's a brand new, unique character to put to the shelf. But then you've already got a Gwen. You've already got a Miles from the other wave. You've already got a Spider-Man 2099. I don't see any, apart from one in that unmasked head in colour, I don't see any reason for having the purple Punk just for myself. Don't like the colourway they've changed from Gwen.
But if you're one of those people with your head in the sand for the last 5 years and you miss this wave festival, you've got a brand new wave to buy coming to retail. And it's just in time for Christmas. And we all know if you want to sell tat, put it out for Christmas because anyone will buy any old shit in October, November, December.
Some of this wave is like some of the previous waves. Let me go. I've got an image somewhere of the previous wave. Let me close. There you go. So right, there's all the Into the Spider-Verse figures that have been released. We've got 2 full waves of Into the Spider-Verse figures. So that's what, 8, 7, 8, 9, no, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, whatever it is. I can't count, Rich.
Well, good counting skills. You're like the
why.
count from Sesame Street for there. 1, 2.
I can't count. I told you I need to watch more Al Nombre from back in the day. But no one, Al Nombre. If you were off school ill in the 90s, you'd watch Channel 2 and you'd see Al Nombre. He was some Mexican man doing maths in the desert. Trust me, someone in the chat, please justify this memory of mine, or was it all a dream? Was I dreaming of a Mexican man doing maths? I don't know. But anyway, here we have all the Marvel Legends from Into the Spider-Verse. So I like the card design. They're not retro. People say retro, right? But they are not retro to anything. They are just card backs. They are just card back Marvel Legends, which is absolutely fine.
Just card back.
But they are not retro cards. People always refer to these as retro cards, but they are not retro to anything. They are not a tribute to anything from the past. They are just a brand new design for the next generation, which I like. They are very, very nice for the movie. A nice complementary piece of merchandising for a very popular movie. And accurate designs as well. Like everything after the Stiltman Build-A-Figure wave, which was in the original Marvel Legends boxes, has been more stylized to the designs we've seen on screen. So if you are a fan of Into the Spider-Verse, you're going to like these figures. They are very nice. Like, again, some of them, like I was referring to, go for a pretty penny on the aftermarket. But then others, like poor Jessica Drew here, you can get for like £7 still. But Spider-Punk is like 60 quid. So there's hits and misses in that wave. But Jessica's a completely unique character. And she's the first pregnant Marvel Legends in history as well, by the way. But yeah, look, there's Peter B. Parker, because it says in the packaging. And then the one we get here is Peter Parker. So, technically, 2 different people. Do you know what would have been better in Wave 2 of these, Rich? Peter B. Parker with the baby.
Yeah, Mayday Parker.
Yeah, like, if you'd got Peter B. Parker again, with his like a dressing gown, I suppose, is wearing, and then the baby. That would have been
I
very nice.
I would have got that. And the other, I would assumed if they were doing a wave two, I assumed Scarlet Spider would have been in there as well. Because like in the kids basic line they do, like Scarlet Spider's in that. So I was assuming we wouldn't get Scarlet Spider in wave two. So not to have him in here is a bit weird. But then I guess his design is just the same as a normal Scarlet Spider. So you can just put
Yeah,
that
it was a
in.
bit arty, wasn't it? That he was a bit
Yeah.
brooding, wasn't he?
Like
That
yeah, like
yeah,
90s comic booky style.
yeah,
So
yeah. But then right at the end of the movie, they sort of tease the team up, and you've got characters from the old one and the new one. So again, I'm assuming this isn't going to be the last Spider-Verse movie wave either. I do think we will get at least one more wave to accompany the next movie, whenever that is. So if you're into the Spider-Verse, you're going to like these. You could have also got, by the way, if they were into repaints, how about this for a suggestion? So instead of a repaint of Spider-Punk to the purple version, how about a repaint of the Spot using the newly tooled body for Spot, but in the black with the white swirls, like at the end, when he's powered up and he's about to become this big villain? Would that have been a better repaint? No, I'm not saying it was a desirable repaint, but would it have been better than a purple Spider-Punk?
no.
Okay, just curious. It was just a question. There was no right or wrong answer. It was just a question.
And I give you the answer. There we go.
There you go. Yeah, that's fine. Just curious. But there you go. I've seen the film. Film's great. I do look forward to the next movie whenever it happens to come out. But they are the figures. They are up for pre-order right now. Buy them from all the places you buy your Marvel Legends. Right, so let me close some tabs here and we can get into some Deadpool discussion. So again, warning people, warning. This is my warning signal lights. Warning. We are going to talk spoilers for Deadpool. We've already sort of dabbled in a few anyway. But Rich, before we get into talking about what toys we would like from the movie, or what action figures or Marvel Legends we would like to represent that film in our collections, what did you think of the movie, Rich?
I thought it was really good, and it was more emotional than I thought it was going to be. What I will say is Deadpool and Wolverine is a really good, I think, wrap up to like the Fox verse, and all of the Fox verse, whether it's the X-Men or the Fantastic Four or even Daredevil, all the properties Fox had. It kind of puts it, well, not even just the Fox universe, like the non-MCU part of the Marvel universe. It kind of like ties it up in a bow and gives it like a nice little send off in a much better way than like Dark Phoenix or New Mutants technically did. It's a really good, and like the end bit where they do like a montage of all the X-Men movies. Like I was a bit choked up for that. Not gonna lie, Dad. Like maybe it was Green Day playing over it.
But that's what we grew up on. That's our.
Yeah.
That's what hooked us into and obviously other forms of media as well. But they were the original movies. That like Blade. I still remember Blade. Like that first scene where he walks into the nightclub and it starts raining like from the sprinklers of like blood, and it's just like Blade.
Yeah.
And without Blade, the success of Blade convinced the studios to make X-Men. Then the success of X-Men made Sony go and buy Marvel. Do you know when Sony went to buy not buy Marvel, buy Spider-Man? When Sony went to buy Spider-Man, Marvel, because they were like on the verge of bankruptcy, they offered Sony Captain America, Iron Man, and other characters, and the guy that was doing the deal for Sony went, nah, we're just interested in Spider-Man, please. But if they had said yes, then there would be no MCU. So thank you to that idiot Sony executive that did that shitty deal. But yeah, I agree with you, Rich. It was like a wrap up for the Fox sort of verse, if you will. Can I just like hot take from me? I think the movie was like the initial reactions for everybody were just really overhyped. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know if I was expecting more cameos or what. I don't know what. But I came out of that movie going, am I missing something? Was there something I missed? Because the hype levels were so high. I just felt like, did I miss it? Was there enough cameos? I don't know. Like, there wasn't. I did expect to see the original X-Men. Like, that was my baseline for cameos. Like Halle Berry as Storm and Jean and Scott. That was my baseline for cameos. I thought we're gonna see them, and we didn't even see them. The cameos was pretty random. Like, I still think there was some cool cameos. Don't get me wrong, and we will discuss. But I don't know. I expected more from the hype that they had created. But maybe that's the internet's fault. Maybe that's the fan base's fault for making all these hype videos and all these guesses and all these rumors. Can't really blame the movie for that because they just let the rumors go wild. But I don't know. I was just expecting a few more cameos. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
I thought they would be more X-Men cast members show up than
not
what
more
did.
Fox
That's the bit.
cameos.
Yeah, the other bits were good, but I thought there would be at least a couple more of the classic X-Men, even if it was just for a second. I thought they would appear more, and we didn't really get that apart from a couple of people who get into in a bit. But yeah, that's what I thought.
Let me just go to the chat real quick. Brandon, our friend Brandon, he says, the super producer got choked up, ? Proof displayed once has a heart. He's not the Tin Man.
I do have a heart. I know. I went to the wizard and I got mine, all right?
Super Turk with the super chat. I'll let Friday read that out first for you, Tanner. But yeah, by the way, I did enjoy the movie very much so. I don't know. My initial reaction was that was very hyped up, but I did enjoy it. I also do think it, like you said, it was more of a wrap up for that. It didn't feel like a Deadpool 3. Do you know what I mean? I watched Deadpool 1 and 2 on the road.
Got money in the bank.
And it's like they just pivoted. Super Turk with a super chat.
Turk 5000 donated £5. Technically, this is the 4th Spider-Verse Miles and 3rd Spider-Verse Gwen. Everyone seems to forget the original 2-pack. They came together in 4/7 for me.
Technically, Tanner is completely right, and Tanner's name is read out by Friday as Super Turk 5000 rather than Super Turk 5000. Maybe I'll start calling Tanner Super Turk 5000 from now on. Technically, this is the 4th Spider-Verse Miles and the 3rd Spider-Verse Gwen. Everyone seems to forget about that 2-pack. Yes, there was a 2-pack, but there's a reason we forget about it, Tanner, okay? There's a reason we forget about it. It's because they just repainted the new designs on those old bodies and it just didn't really work out right. Let me have a quick look for it so people know what I'm talking to. Tanner derailing my show, but he did pay for it, so I don't mind that. Thank you very much, Tanner. Spider-Verse 2-pack. I never bought this 2-pack either. Right, let's get it up on screen. Open image, there we go. Oh, Reddit, I don't like Reddit. Right, this is the 2-pack that Tanner is referring to. So there you go. There was also a 2-pack with the same bodies from the single packed versions in the Stiltman wave, but they're repainted on with the new designs. That was all. But yeah, the heads don't even have digital face printing tech. They look very outdated. Even though it was only a couple of years ago, Legends have upped the bar since then, so they look very outdated. But yes, that's what Tanner is referring to. There was a 2-pack, which goes for a pretty penny in the aftermarket, and I don't know why, but it is Spider-Man, and everyone loves that stuff. Right, so let's go back to Rich a second. So, Tom says, I felt the same on the first viewing, Dan. Oh, okay, so it weren't just me. But like you said, I think the film was so hyped up, it was hard to live up to what you have in your mind. Enjoyed it much more in the second viewing. Yeah, I watched it a second time on YouTube. Someone leaked it on YouTube, and it was a pretty good quality. I know, very bad. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched like 40 minutes of it. But I
Stop taking your old Dan. Just shut up, move on. Shut up, move on.
Yeah, I never seen anything. Blame Tanner. Blame Super Turk 5000.
Oh, you never learn your lessons, Joe. We had this last week with Tanner. That was you.
He started it. Blame him. Right. What was I saying? Let's talk about toys. Right. Let me close this. Right. So, Rich, what have you put together for us? How many have we got here? We
were good to the top 10. We got 11 because that was as much as I could cut it down to. Okay, right?
Cool. Okay. So we're going to talk about 11 potential Marvel Legends that they could give us. But first, let's just quickly remind you of what they have gave us already. All right. So we've got 3 figures that are going to be coming out sort of November time. We've got Deadpool, which I think people are very happy with. The brighter red, more accurate to the design in the movie. No one's complaining at that. Wolverine in the yellow. This is Hugh Jackman's first look in the yellow. You get the unmasked heads as well. I've seen these in person. They look very nice, completely pinless. Moves really well. I like this figure. Looking forward to it. And then we get the trailer Logan. But it is technically Deadpool with a Logan accessory. So I guess you can't be mad when your accessory is a whole figure. But we can still be mad, I guess, if we want. But it's Deadpool and Logan. Out of every character that was in that movie, I would have took anyone else over this. But again, I don't blame Hasbro. Maybe they just weren't allowed to do anybody else. So they just I don't know. I don't know why they went with this, but this is what we've got, Rich. This is what we've got. I've seen him in person. He doesn't look bad.
Headpool, oh, you got Headpool.
Yeah. I've seen this in person. It's not bad for what it is. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not excited about it, but it's not bad at all. It's a nice looking civilian Logan with the Headpool. So I'll be getting it. I've pre-ordered it. I'm getting it. I'm just saying I'm just not excited about it compared to some of the other potential characters that we shall discuss right now. As this is a version of Wolverine, Rich, I would have preferred to get. So right at the end of the movie, after Hugh Jackman was keeping his top on the whole time, it got ripped off. And it revealed a completely topless Wolverine. And he has like an 8-pack. Let's be honest. Look at those. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, is that CGI? Or is it just Hugh Jackman is that buff? I believe it's Hugh Jackman.
I was the body double for this scene. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you see. I did think so. I just didn't want to embarrass you in front of everybody here on YouTube. But yeah, this is...
padded, this is.
For topless Wolverine, I think no one would dispute they would have preferred this than this, right?
They would definitely prefer it than the Into the Spider-Verse wave, 100%. They would have preferred.
I clicked the wrong word. But would you buy the topless Wolverine?
Yeah, I hopefully he'd come with a jacket, because I mean you got to cover him up like the TVA jacket as well for the bit.
The hot toy does that. The hot toy does.
The hot toys do. Yeah, for that end scene with this Wolverine, I mean that's what you want, and then maybe you could like have interchangeable arms, so you could swap the like bare arms onto the other Wolverine. Like that's what you could do. There you go.
Yeah, that would be a good idea if they did that. You could swap them out. But yeah, topless Wolverine. And again, we will discuss the variants at the end because they could make a variant. They could make a wave of variant Hugh Jackman Wolverines. Let's be honest. They could do that. Maybe we'll discuss them at the end. Let's keep going through unique characters. Okay, so our list here is not really any of the variants. It's more the unique characters that popped up throughout the movie, because you could make a whole wave of variants of Hugh Jackman's Wolverines. You can make a whole wave of variants of the Deadpool Corps. We're just discussing the different unique characters here. So Logan's first. Next up, one of the more predominant sort of variants. He popped up a few times. Nicepool. Who apparently doesn't have a regenerating power, unfortunately, but nobody told Primepool that. But his suit is a bit more armoured, isn't it? It's a bit more, I don't know, it's a bit
more
design.
Shiny, and nice, and he's got like the Deadpool logo on his belt. He's just like a bit more, like a bit more gleam to him. He's like a Disneyfied Deadpool, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. We seen him put his mask on though, did we? So if we got this figure, could we get the masked head? I'm trying to think. Did we ever see him with his mask on?
No, because he's like he's
doesn't
too
have
beautiful, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's too beautiful.
You're right. He literally says he doesn't have a mask.
He should probably come with Dogpool. That's what you need for them. That's the bit that you need.
Yeah, so I will accept this as a figure as long as Dogpool comes with it. And Ryan Reynolds, of course, got the top knot. I don't think you're going to get that in any other way, as regular Wade Wilson is all burnt up and whatever. So yeah, okay. So Nicepool, out of all the variants, he is probably one of the more predominant variants from the film.
His third wall breaking bit was the bit that I laughed the most at. Yeah, we went the proposal.
Yeah, so stupid. I can fall Fulbright too. Yeah, so stupid. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so Cassandra Nova, Baldy locks herself, twin of Charles Xavier. She's trapped in the void. They did try and explain why she was there, because she's really powerful, so they put her in the void and they've just let her control the void, and she controls what's he called? Annihilus? Not Annihilus. Aviathan? What's he called? What's the big cloud called?
Alioth.
No, it's not Alioth.
Alioth.
Yeah. There you go. So Cassandra Nova, she is a unique character. She's technically the big bad of the movie. Now, is she a big bad, really? Probably not. Considering her power set, there was a decision in the movie, and now we can talk spoilers, we can discuss this, right? There was a decision she made in the movie that just wasn't lined up with the character. She was like this really horrible character that's killing everyone, feeding everyone to a life or whatever, and then she just gives them the sling ring and lets them get away and not kill them. It's like, that goes against everything you've just built up. It just was an odd choice for the character. It was the way to get them out. It was like a cheap way to get them out of the void, I think, was her letting them go. I reckon they could have written a better way to get him out of the void rather than her giving him the option. Like, if they'd found a variant with a sling ring or something and used it, that would have been like made more sense than Cassandra Nova going, no, actually, I'll let you escape. Like, no, that's not her character trait. So that character, like, point annoyed me. It's like Cassandra wouldn't let them go. She'd just kill them. But
I think it was like they melted her wicked heart, didn't they? By what Wolverine and Deadpool said to her and stuff like that. I think that was the thing. But then when she came through, she went back to being an evil bitch again. So it was
That's my point. That's my point. It's like she was nice when it was convenient to the story of getting them out of the void. Like, they could have found a better way out of like all the cameos and all the different characters that could have been in the void. Like, do a random variant of Doctor Strange. Like, who plays the Joker? What's his name? Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix.
They wanted him to play the original Doctor Strange, didn't they, in the MCU? That could have been a fun cameo. He probably wouldn't have done it because he's a grumpy bastard now and he's now the Joker. But that could have been a fun cameo where you got a variant of Doctor Strange with a sling ring and he goes, actually, I can get you out or something. I don't know. That would have made more sense than Cassandra Nova going against the whole character trait. So that tiny story beat did bug me. It was like they could have found another way. But other than that, she was fine. But I do think they didn't really do the character Cassandra Nova justice. As in the comics, she's like crazy bad. Like, isn't she the reason of the genocide and Genosha and all that? So
yeah, she and the bit where Wolverine says like, oh, if Charles knew you were alive, I'm sure he would save him. In the comic books, Charles would not save her because she's a horrible, horrible woman. But what I will say is she's probably fingered the most people in an MCU movie that you've seen. Definitely Cassandra Nova. Like 4, 5, even a thumb in there. All the fingers in there she's had. Fingered more people than anyone.
To be fair, her power set was represented quite well in live action because that's what she does in the comic pages, isn't it? Like her fingers come out of their face. So, yeah.
But she needs alternate, like at least Deadpool and Wolverine heads where she can like put her fingers through. I think with like
an alternative Deadpool head with like fingers through or something would be a very cool accessory. If we are going to get another bold character within the MCU over Cassandra Nova, I think I'd choose the Ancient One first. I think the Ancient One is a character we haven't got in the MCU collection yet that I think is more justified. Not justify, that's the wrong word. More deserving of a figure than Cassandra Nova, that's all. But she is the big bad. If it happened, I'd buy it. But there's definitely some interesting accessories they could give her for sure. Next up, Mr. Paradox. Now, I have not watched the Succession show that he's apparently in, but apparently people really like it. But he is playing another bad guy in this. And he's going rogue. He works for the TVA, but if you've watched Loki, you know the TVA are now good. And they are no longer pruning timelines. But this guy is going against the grain and he wants to prune all these timelines. And again, it's an odd story beat, again, that they even got Deadpool out of his timeline because he's got a bigger meaning. And it's like they never really explain that. I'm assuming that will get told down the line maybe. But Paradox, he could be a man in a suit. Could be a new pinless suited body, whack a head on there. That's an easy figure. I'd rather a Mr. Paradox than a Logan in a suit because it's a new character. I'd always take a new character over a civilian of another, if that makes any sense. I'm just trying to justify Mr. Paradox here. Help me out, Rich.
Well, you said about like Cassandra Nova not being the big bad and Alioth being the big bad, but I would say Paradox is the big bad. Like everything that happens in this movie is kind of because he's a bit of a bastard and wants to destroy timelines and break away from the TVA. Like that's what it all comes down to at the end, isn't it? So
you're not wrong. Yeah, he's got more of a significant villainous trait there, I guess. He's not as powerful as Cassandra Nova, but yeah, his actions in the movie are definitely more of a big bad sort of vibe.
And you can have like a broken nose variant to him as well.
Interchangeable broken nose head, yeah, for sure. But yeah, easy figure. Yes, it would be a boring figure, but again, it's all about that character representation on your shelf when you are world building these movies into plastic. So not something I'd be mad at if it came to be. Pyro, one of the actual original cast from the original X-Men movies to replay his role. Other characters in the film are not actually played by their original people. Like Toad wasn't played by the original Toad. Some of the other villains like Lady Deathstrike, Juggernaut, obviously. I still don't get why Juggernaut had such a big role and it wasn't Vinnie Jones. Like, Vinnie Jones, do you not like money? Are you too busy on your farm?
But Vinnie Jones turned it down because
I
he had
know,
such a
yeah.
bad experience on The Last Stand. That's what he said. Because he was offered it, and he said the money wasn't there, and I had such a bad experience on The Last Stand, I wasn't gonna do
Yeah,
it again.
odd one. But the reason you put Pyro here because he was one of the actors that came back to play his role, and he did play more of a right hand man to Cassandra Nova. He also made Johnny Storm look really weak as well. He's like, oh yeah, you're the Human Torch. I'm not bothered. Like, so
His
he
his
had
power
moments.
set was good. I think he had
Yeah,
like of all the X-Men films, this was the best version of Pyro that we've seen, and he was kind of like Cassandra's like main like
yeah, right hand man.
deputy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he had like a bit of a turn at the end. But yeah, I would like to see this. I think the costume is quite good as well. It kind of like pays tribute to his like comic look, but like updates it more for like a live action version. And yeah, with like his flame effects, like with Johnny Storm, like really good. So I would love this figure.
Your boy's got toys says not everybody gets a speech, and yeah, that's what Deadpool says to him, doesn't it, during his thing? But yeah, so out of all those sort of henchmen that Cassandra Nova has, a lot of them are tributes to some of those original X-Men villains. But Pyro is one of the original actors from those Fox movies. A lot of the others are tributes; they are not the actual same actors coming back. But Pyro is so. Worthy of a figure for sure. Sabretooth is another OG who returned, and we actually got a Sabretooth and Wolverine fight with Wolverine in his classic yellow. But again, he made Sabretooth look like an idiot. Like he just took him out so easily. Like, I just think that fight was very one-sided. Do you not think? Like,
Yeah, I think a lot of the things with the whole Deadpool movie is that if it was like a build a figure wave, there's not really any like big characters that they could make. I mean, maybe the Blob or something like that. But I think if you do a build a figure wave, you make Sabretooth the build a figure and you just put his head with Wolverine, just like that. That would be
yeah,
like a
yeah.
good move, I think.
Yeah, just give it. The head could just be an interchangeable accessory that someone could hold because he gets beheaded. Spoiler alert, people! But Wolverine beheads him very quickly, like a
But
Western duel.
and at least Tyler Mane did return as well. He's
Yeah,
from like the
he
first
is.
X-Men film. Like, he was like recast for X-Men Origins Wolverine. It was Liv Schreiber, was it? I think took over from him.
Yeah, yeah, that he's yeah. The other yeah, he's a good actor. That other guy. Because when
I
he
mean, Tyler Mane is good to Sabretooth. He's got the bulk for Saber. He's a wrestler, yeah.
I think so. The thing is, the thing, the canon with the spin-off Wolverine movies were always confusing. They always ignored what they wanted to and took parts they wanted to from the main X-Men timeline. But yeah, changing Sabretooth because he had a bigger role. But this is my mind's eye of X-Men Sabretooth. Forget X-Men
Yeah.
Origins. This is my mind's eye of Fox X-Men Sabretooth. So I'm glad to see it. It was a nice little quick cameo, but they did make him look like a weakling. And Sabretooth can hold his own. Like, I think Wolverine would always win the fight, but he can hold his own for a little bit longer than he did in the movie. But I get it was just a wink and nod tribute. So there's Sabretooth. Here's the first big cameo, if you will. There were a few other cameos before, obviously with variants. I think Henry Cavill appeared as a variant of Wolverine. We got Happy Hogan, of course, at the start of the film. But this was the first big cameo appearance. They built it up. He had his hood up. He revealed himself, and Deadpool was basically playing the audience where everyone was assuming it's a Captain America, even though if you actually knew what was going on, you knew it was Johnny Storm straight away. But Deadpool was leaning towards it was Captain America, and he was like, he's gonna say it, Avengers, but then he doesn't. He says flame on. And this was a fun cameo for Chris Evans. I think he enjoyed it as well, especially if you've seen the post-credit scene. Apparently he memorized all of that, by the way. So like he said that was some fun dialogue that he's never going to get to say in any other project. So of course he was memorizing that shit. That's what he said in an interview. But he played a fun role in this, right? But again, he made Johnny Storm look like an idiot.
Yeah. Would you want him though, flame on or flame off? That's the thing. If they did a figure, but I think they'd only do it once.
Yeah, flame on, flame off, flame off. In this apocalyptic void look, though, do you know, like with
You
the
wouldn't want him in his
scarf?
blue uniform, man. You'd want him in like the scarf and the
Yeah.
bandages.
Unless we're getting the rest of the Fantastic Four to pay tribute to that team, which again, another team I expected to see. After seeing Johnny, I thought he was going to lead them to some of the survivors, which would have been the Fantastic Four, or at least another one of the cast members, at least like Jessica Alba, for God's sake, she's still out there doing stuff. So But it was fun. Obviously, Chris Evans has a lot of friends within the MCU, and he also cameoed. He's good friends with Ryan Reynolds. If you remember the film Guy, what was it called? That Free Guy or something like that. He actually cameoed in that as well.
Yeah.
When he got the Captain America shield
He's
out.
watching, yeah.
We cut to a scene of him watching, going, "What the shit?" So obviously he's friends with Ryan Reynolds, and he understood the concept. He understood he wasn't playing Captain America, and he was playing Johnny Storm. And again, what was fun about these cameos is that they weren't just like a blink and a miss. It's like they all had their little moment to digest for a second. So I liked that. So it wasn't just like, "Oh, there he is and he's gone." It was like, no, he lingered for a little bit, and I didn't mind it. And then again, Cassandra Nova just made a light work of him. But I definitely blame Deadpool for that. Would you want him in this form, or would you flame on, flame off?
I'd been this one with like a flamed on head. I think maybe that would be the
okay.
way to do it. Like maybe one hand on fire or something like that. But yeah, no, I'd want him like this, so like because it's Chris Evans then, isn't it, on your shelf? So
Mike Heck says he wants the pile of meat bone pile Johnny as an accessory piece. Right, cool. So there's Johnny Storm for our first big cameo. Let's get into the actual survivors then, shall we? So, of course, they sort of took refuge. They were sleeping in the Ragnarok bed, I think. That was the bed that Hulk was sleeping in from Thor Ragnarok was the bed that Deadpool woke up in. And then the first big cameo in that moment was Elektra. So this is Jessica Gardner, right? Jessica Gardner, I'm saying that? Or is it?
Jennifer Garner,
Jennifer Garner, yeah. So I've not actually seen Elektra. I've seen the Daredevil that she's in. Obviously, she appeared in 2 Marvel movies. She was in Daredevil with Ben Affleck, and that's when Happy Hogan played Foggy, if I remember. Foggy Nelson, yeah, I think.
yeah.
So she was in that, and then she got her own spin-off, Elektra, that I have not seen, but I'm going to try and track it down and watch it. So I understood the reference, even though
The first female solo
Was it really?
Marvel movie, yeah.
Wow, okay, fair play to her. So I understood when I seen the cameo, I knew straight away who she was or anything. But again, just a fun deep cut, a character that probably never really got their swan song, if you will. And this is an opportunity. What do you think of this cameo? Were you happy to see it? Are you a fan of her in the movies or whatever?
I'm a massive fan of Jennifer Garner because of Alias. Like I think a lot of like people who grew up in like the early 2000s, like Alias was this like big TV show, and like Jennifer Garner did all these stunts and stuff like that. And I think she's underrated as like an action star. She was in like Daredevil. She had a couple of movies, and then she kind of like disappeared.
Have you seen
and
Peppermint
just
in recent years? Peppermint.
Yeah, Peppermint is a good movie.
It's not the John Wick, but it's her go for her daughter. Yeah. Watch that if you've not seen it anyway. Peppermint.
That's a really good movie. Yeah, really underrated. What I will say, of all of the others, the 4 of them, I think Jennifer Garner didn't get a moment in this. I wanted to see her like the eye with a side or like chuck it at someone.
Yeah.
And she never really got that moment, I don't think.
I agree. She was part of the fight scenes, but there was not really any big moment. I agree.
No, have I disappeared again?
No, you're still
Is
there.
my internet player?
You're still there, because second, you're good. You're still there. 13 Green Turek says he's obviously a big fan. So yeah, this is like one of the obvious ones to make an action figure of. If Marvel Legends are going to go and make action figures, you got to make that team, that sort of rebellious team from the end of the movie. So you need to make Elektra, and I think people wouldn't be mad at it at all. I need an Elektra figure, and my crowd cheered so much, says Arvin. Why didn't they play Bring Me to Life when she was fighting, he says. What's that? Is that a song from one of the movies or something? I assume so. I don't know.
Evanescence was in the Daredevil movie, wasn't it? Bring Me to Life was from the Daredevil soundtrack.
Oh, see, if you said Evanescence,
that's where it came from, wasn't it?
I would have got you then. I would have got you. Okay, next up is... Oh, where's he gone? Let's go back. Next up. Now, this was, like, I don't know what it was, if it was the music or what, but when the music started playing and Wesley Snipes' Blade walked in, that one did make me smile, because, again, this guy is the godfather of, like, Marvel live action. Like, if Blade wasn't successful, who knows what the landscape of Marvel movies would look like today? Like, full stop, period. If Blade wasn't successful and Wesley Snipes was Blade, he got a whole trilogy out of it. So him appearing out of that doorway with the music playing was very, very cool. And I'm very glad to see that he made up with Ryan Reynolds. There was even a line by Deadpool who says that you've never liked me, and if you understood the backstory with that was a funny line as well. Says Dale. So in the third one, it's got like Triple H in it as well, I think, and Ryan Reynolds doesn't play Deadpool, but he leans into those Deadpool characteristics. So, apparently it was on the set of Blade 3 that Ryan Reynolds was introduced to the character of Deadpool, and he was reading Deadpool comics on the set of this movie, and he used some of that Wade Wilson influence in his character in the third Blade movie, and then obviously he played Deadpool in the Wolverine movie, and then we all know what happened from there. So Wesley Snipes deserves his flowers in regards to the Marvel live actionness. I'm glad he returned for this one for sure. And then the last person through that door, Rich, it was Gambit chatting. So this one was spoiled for me. I was gutted. So I was scrolling. I don't know why. Do you know, like, lazily just scrolling Twitter that morning, like the day before. Sorry, Twitter. Casually caught off guard.
Era, Dan.
I know it was my own fault. It was my own fault. Like I know better. But you know when you're just not thinking and you just casually, like, it's like second nature to pick up your phone. I seen this cameo and I was like, oh no, it's been ruined. But then at the same time, I thought, oh, this is genius. I had to explain to Amanda what the reference of this cameo was. She had no idea. Because again, not the general public ain't really going to understand the backstory on this. So he was introduced as Gambit at San Diego Comic-Con. They took a big cast photo with all of the younger X-Men. I think it was during the Dark Phoenix sort of vibe, or just before they started filming Dark Phoenix. They introduced Chadwick Tatum as Gambit in the Fox universe. He was going to get his own movie, and then it just never happened. It just never ever happened. So, like, this was a really cool cameo. This is one of the cooler cameos of a character that hasn't actually appeared in any other live action movie, but was supposed to. And they make plenty of jokes about that, because even Gambit's like going, I think I was born here. Like, I don't even know. Like, there was a lot, and he was taking the piss out of his dialect coach. This was a fun cameo. When you seen him walk through the door, what did you think, Rich? I think
I needed subtitles. Yeah, face off. I needed subtitles because his accent was so strong. Like, I was like, oh, but he committed to it, and his powers and the suit, I thought, looked really great. So yeah, I was really happy to see this. Like you said, at least Channing Tatum finally got to be Gambit. I mean, I don't think we'll see him again as Gambit, but it was nice he got his little moment to shine. And it was, I think, of all of them, it was the most unexpected, because like you said, he didn't even go as far as to get a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, I expected to see, like, some of the Fantastic Four, some of the original X-Men, maybe Ben Affleck as Daredevil, like something like that. So to see Chadwick Tatum, where he was not even on my mind. So if that didn't get spoiled for me on Twitter, this one I would have been very happy with seeing live in the cinema. But it was cool. And in that sort of comic accurate Jim Lee outfit as well. The movie wouldn't have done this. The X-Men, whatever movie he went on to do, wouldn't have done this. They would have dumbed it down like the X-Men of the past. So the fact that we've seen him in his true Jim Lee mind's eye of Gambit, his power set looked so cool in live action as well. And yeah, the accent was a bit of a joke, but that leaned into the whole thing. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And people are saying in the end credit scenes, you can see him on the TV screen. Now, I think people are looking way too deep into that. I just think those screens have random stuff on. Gambit is on one of them, and people are like speculating that Gambit survived the void and he's still out there and he could return. He could. I'm sure he could. But I think people are digging, like, searching for that one for sure. But would you want him on your figure on a shelf?
That was the bit, though.
Go on.
Yeah, but the bit that I never got right is that everyone was like, "Oh, all these people are like gone," but I thought that was the old deal he made, was that the others all got to go and live on in their universes.
Yeah, I
so
think
Gambit and Elektra all got to like they're all alive. That's the bit that everyone's like, "Oh, they're all gone." They're not. That was the old thing. They could all be out there again in the multiverse.
They wanted you to, especially with Laura being there at the end as well. Obviously, the rest just weren't invited round for dinner. There wasn't enough room around the dinner table, but they're from a different universe, so why would they be there? Do you know, like, so yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
There were a few threads that they didn't really tie up, so they. Again, I don't know. Is he still alive? I don't know. I just think people are reaching for that cameo. But like Rich said, they did allude to them possibly being saved because the girl from Loki did say, "I'll see what I can do," and then Laura was there at the end. So you would only assume that the rest are still out there. Again, these are people that could prop up for Secret Wars again down the line, but probably not. But I don't know. I wouldn't be mad to see Blade and Gambit back at Secret Wars, even if it is just for a few scenes in the background. I'd take it. But fair play. I think Chadwick Tatum played the role really well. But after seeing this, I don't know if it convinced me that we needed a movie of it. So I think this was probably... Whatever happened, it all happened for the right reasons, is all I'm saying. So there you go. Chadwick Tatum as Gambit. X-23 is all grown up, but she's still wearing those sunglasses.
You know it's Channing. You know it's Channing Tatum, don't know.
I say Chadding. What do I say? I say it wrong, though. What do I
You
say?
say Chadwick.
Chadwick Tatum. Yeah.
It's Channing.
Okay, you know
it's not Chadwick. It's
okay.
Channing.
Okay, Channing. I need to channel the Channing. You know who I mean, though, all right? You know who I mean, all right? It's just people have weird names, all right? Chadwick, Chadwin, Channing. I can't even speak at all now. Channing. The internet's being weird. The internet's chopping me up. I'm saying Channing and whatever. X-23. Are you disappointed she wasn't in a costume?
No, because I thought this was more of a tribute to Logan. So I think this is the X-23 from Logan. In like a little Wolverine costume. I like this a lot better. And I like this. I liked seeing her with Hugh Jackman again. But it was a good moment. And of all of them, I think this one had leaked, but I hadn't seen this. And this was quite unexpected for me. I think they leaked it in the last trailer, didn't they, or something? Yeah. But I didn't see it. So this was the one I wasn't expecting. So when she walked out last, yeah, I was quite glad to see X-23.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't need to see her in the comic accurate uniform. She was there for that emotional attachment to Logan. And again, she's still there at the end. She's around that dinner table at the end at Deadpool's house. So she's still out there. So yeah, X-23, really like her. I'd take her in figure form. We never got one for the Logan movie. We have technically got movie figures from Logan. We got Charles and Logan in that San Diego Comic-Con 2-pack. So we do have Logan figures, but we never got an X-23. Just call him Jeff, Dan. Yeah, that's true. My name's Jeff. Yeah, that's from what's it called? Street. What's it called? What's the film with Chad and Tatum and the other guy in?
21 Jump Street.
That's it. It's 20. I think it's 22 Jump Street. Where he goes, "My name's Jeff." I like that scene. Funny. Funny. I thought she was underused. Some says Beast Man. Beast Boy Man. I think she. Of course, she could have played a bigger role, but I think they used her for her intended purposes. She was at. She was the reason that Wolverine attended the battle in the end, wasn't he? He came out of the trunk, didn't he? Because he wasn't in the car. So she was that emotional attachment to the character. But the action and scenes would have figured more. Yeah, maybe she could have. But there we go. So, Rich, there's 11 figures there, right? So, because the last wave was 3 figures, right? The last wave was 3. Let's say you had to pick 3 characters to be in the next wave. What are the 3 most wanted for you?
Only 3.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. Top 3. Top 3. Basically, because there's 3 in that wave, so you're picking the next 3.
You've got to have Cassandra Nova, because I think she was kind of like the big bad of it. Then I would put in Blade. And, oh, damn, this is like mean. Blade and... probably Gambit, because we're never going to see him again. There you go. That's the 3 I would pick.
Yeah, I'd pick Blade, Gambit, and probably Elektra, because they're the 3 like that were there. They were the survivors, whatever they called them, the rebellion or whatever they called it. They were the 3. I think Laura was there as well, of course, but I don't know. I just think these 3. For me, have that more sentimental sort of old school attachment. Again, like I've Elektra, but I've definitely seen Daredevil. So again, decades old. So if I was going to pick 3, I'd pick those 3. But I would take any figure that you've picked today, to be fair, in figure form. Will we see them all? I don't know. Real quick mention as well of all the Wolverine cameos. We got to see comic accurate Wolverine, made me laugh, like that one did make me chuckle. We got to see a glimpse of Patch. We got a glimpse of Age of Apocalypse. I bet Dan Yoon is very happy wherever he is out there. We got to see Henry Cavill as Wolverine. Apparently he did a little tribute to his reloading fist as well from Mission Impossible. And then we got all those Deadpool corps. Which one of the Deadpool corps would you like to see a figure of? And the Wolverine variants. If you had to pick a Wolverine variant and a Deadpool variant.
Welshpool. Welshpool. Only Welshpool.
Do you know Welshpool was played by the Wrexham forward?
I did know that.
Yeah.
Yes,
No, I thought that was a cool little fact. Who would I want from the Deadpool variants? Lady Pool. I'd want a live action Lady Pool, and she comes with a baby pool accessory or a kid pool accessory or something like that. But there were some fun variants. There was a Last Showman variant as well, which was pretty funny. Basically dressed like Hugh Jackman from the Last Showman, but as Deadpool in the background. There was loads, people. There was loads.
But do you know where everyone can tell us about favourite variants? On the extra show, which we're going to go to now before this stream dies, because I haven't seen you for the last 20 minutes.
Have you not? Am I not there for you? It is very glitchy.
No, this is gone. So if I can't see you, God knows what everyone else can see it. Yeah, we definitely need to wrap this up and get over to the extra stream, and we can restart it.
Okay, it seems good on my end, so it's okay. We're okay, people. We're going to go off to the extra show then, people. We will discuss these even more. So if you want to discuss Deadpool and Wolverine with us, then please do come over to the after show. Who Crew Deluxe member, you pay, because obviously we need that better internet here. So we appreciate your support, as always. No Legend and Liquor this week. Again, repeat, no Legends and Liquor this week. So if you want to come and talk some toys, this is going to be your opportunity. If you don't want to be a guest, you can still watch. Just be part of the Who Crew Deluxe tier. And as I said, to make up for not being around on Sunday, I will be doing an inner circle in the month of August. So become a channel member in August at any tier, and you can get involved with the inner circle later on this month, okay? So Rich, if you can hear me, I know you can't see me, but if you can hear me, tell the good people where they can find you online.
Find me displayed once on Instagram before I disappear into the void forever.
We're going to have to rescue him. Follow him on Instagram. It's there on the screen. We're going to go off to the extra show. We'll be back next week. I'm only away for a few days, so streaming will carry on next Thursday. I wonder what the Marvel Legend news will be. I don't know. We'll find out next week. Hopefully there is some. Otherwise, we'll talk about Spider-Verse for 2 hours again, all right? Goodbye, everybody. Hopefully not. Hopefully there's more news than that. We'll do a topic or something. We will figure it out.
New heads.
Click one of these videos. Go and watch that one, and then after you've watched that one, click that one, okay? And then find the playlist, subscribe to the playlist, listen to the podcast, become a channel member, and just watch some more stuff, all right?